I spent a weekend at the Stan Million Dollar Mastermind surrounded by their top 30 ambassadors. During my time there, I got to hear from amazing creators what their number one tip was for growing on social media, for making money, what they would tell new and aspiring content creators who are just starting out. And after spending this weekend with them, I saw that there are so many things these creators had in common, but 3 that I want to talk about in today's video. As always, timestamps are below, use them if you need them. Let's start with their number one tips for growing on social media and making money. The first tip is to allow your niche to adapt with your growth. After talking to a bunch of these creators, it was crazy how so many of us started in a completely different niche than what we're currently known for. Like, I was not always teaching social media. That wasn't the niche I started posting in. Similar to Brock Johnson, he wasn't always teaching Instagram. He actually originally started teaching Snapchat.
My name is Brock Johnson. I teach people how to grow and make money on Instagram, and I'm an OnlyFans creator.
How did you find your niche?
Yeah, I never really worked a job before content creation. I started my first business when I was 19. When I started doing what I'm doing now is 2019. So 2016 is when I started my teaching parents how to keep their kids safe on Snapchat, which that was the first real business. Not because I'm passionate about cybersecurity for teenagers, but because there was a market for it.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that I could teach parents how to do it because I had taught my parents how to do Snapchat. So that was that business. And then very quickly I learned that the secret sauce of Snapchat was Snapchat stories. Instagram also learned that very soon. So then Instagram released Instagram stories. And so I migrated with Kylie Jenner and everyone else from Snapchat back to Instagram when she kind of led the charge of, hey, we're going back to Insta. So I went with her. Yeah. So I think it was very organic over time, kind of figuring out who I'm good at talking to and who I'm good at explaining things to. And a lot of that is people like my mom. So people who are a little bit older than me, people who want to grow a business online, but might have different technical challenges, or they just didn't grow up creating content in the same way that I did. So it was very organic, I would say.
Okay. What's your main platform and your handle?
MySpace? No, Instagram, and it's Brock11 Johnson.
And I think this is a really important tip because something that a lot of my students struggle with is picking the right niche. So I'll get a lot of Slack messages from my students in the BSP model, and they're like, I can't pick my niche. This is so hard to decide. And the funny thing is, it's not about picking the right or wrong niche. It's about picking something, just anything, and taking action on it, because action actually brings clarity. And I think a lot of us think it's reversed, where we think we have to have clarity before we take action, but that's not always the case. Most of the time, you don't really get a lot of clarity unless you start taking action. So there's no right or wrong niche. Pick something, start posting, start creating, and as you start taking that action, you'll start to find your way, and that clarity will come because you'll be like,
ooh, making this content felt weird. That doesn't feel like me. Maybe I need to switch topics.
or it works well, and then your audience guides you along the way by asking you more questions. So tip number 1, allow your niche to adapt as you grow. You're not trapped in one niche that you pick from the very beginning. So don't put so much pressure on picking the right one. The next tip is about making money, and that is let your audience guide the digital products that you create. When talking to these creators, I ask them how are you coming up with your digital products? And a lot of them, I think every single one of them, said their audience asked for something, and so they created the answer to that thing by creating a digital product, whether it was an ebook, a course, or a membership.
What's up, beautiful people? My name is Monty. I am a content strategist, Instagram coach. That's it.
How did you come up with all of these ideas for your products?
Yeah, good
how did you
question.
come up with what to sell? How do you know what to sell?
Yeah.
What your audience considers valuable?
It's a combination of, from the research that I was doing and just kind of seeing what my peers were doing, I realized there's a balance between what do people want to learn and what am I also actually good at teaching, and what do I have proof of concept in and of myself that qualifies me to teach. So a lot of it was just build a community, creating engaging content, and how to grow your following organically. That's what I did. So, a lot of my coaching was revolving around getting started, Then I did a group workshop to kind of give people the basics of how to start on Instagram. And now I coach people one-on-one. A lot of it revolves around content strategy for the purpose of growing your audience and making money on Instagram. But I have a community now. It's called the Creative Genius Club. So it's a paid private community for people who really want to share their journey of Instagram with other people, get coaching at a high level from somebody who has been there, and stay up to date with like the newest trends and strategies that are working to grow on Instagram. So I didn't have that. So
That's
I'm giving it.
huge for Instagram.
Yeah.
So what's your main platform, your handle? Let
Yeah.
people know.
Yeah, I'm on aka Instagram. My handle is Monty Lans, MONTYLANS. I'll let your boy. Shoot me a DM and let me know if you saw this and that's how you found me so we can be friends.
Love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Millie.
You're the best.
Appreciate you.
Hi, my name is Jenna Peterson. I create content on social media and specifically help real estate agents develop digital products and courses and build their personal brands on Instagram.
What was your first paid offer?
My first paid offer was, so as a real estate agent, I'm big on whiteboards. We have them in like every room in our house. And I had this big whiteboard behind my desk, and all of these agents would ask me, Jenna, what do you put on your whiteboard? Like, is this some magical whiteboard? And so I basically created a mini offer that showed them how to goal set, what I put on my whiteboard, how I make sure that I'm on track with my goals through my whiteboard. And it was $67, and I sold 3 of them my first month.
Nice. How do you come up with your ideas for products, offers now?
So I really focus on listening to what my students need help with through my DMs. That's one of the biggest ways that I'm connecting with my potential clients. My current clients will chat through DMs, and I'll follow some of their stories and just really see where they are falling behind or feel like they're stuck. And so I'll also put out polls. I'm big with like Google Forms, for example. I'll throw up a question or two and people will fill that out and just answer a couple questions for me. And then I'll gather that data and see where people are really struggling the most and then curate a product based on that. Digital products was a complete accident. I just fell into it because I wanted to create products that I could reach more people. And they were asking me questions about how I was doing certain things with my real estate business. So that's really how it came about.
What's your main platform and your handle?
My main platform is Instagram, and you can find me at Jenna Peterson.
Now, if you're somebody who doesn't have an audience to guide those digital products that you create, instead what you would do is first have clarity on the industry that you want to be making money in and study how your peers are making money in that industry.
I think if you don't have any audience at all, there are audiences and communities that already exist. Like if they go to your comment section below your YouTube videos, they're going to get a million responses and comments and questions. And those are what people are asking you. But if they want to be in your shoes, for example, if they want to create content or create courses or create products like you have, then that's the best place to go. Find the people who are already doing vaguely, maybe not exactly, but vaguely what you want to do. Look at their comment sections. Like, what are people asking them? What content are they creating about? And I think that should at least give you a clue as to what the general community is looking for and also what people are lacking. Because like if someone looks, again, to use you an example, like if someone wants to be the next Millie and they look at your YouTube channel, yes, they can get ideas for what people want, but they also might be like, oh, there's this one topic that Millie doesn't really talk about that I would want to be talked about. And so they can kind of fill that gap in the market.
The next tip is about scaling your business. So we talked about a tip for growing on social media, a tip for starting to make money. And now this tip is actually from Jenna. Jenna started in 2023, January 2023. A year and a half later, has made over $2 million being a creator. Like that's insane. And so I asked her, I was like, what do you think it was that was like the tipping point that really blew you up to that 2 million point? And this is what she said.
What would you say is the secret sauce for hitting that 2 million revenue milestone?
So for me, the secret sauce was actually compiling low ticket with higher ticket coaching offers together. So I still do to this day have some offers that are self-paced, people can take on their own and go through the program. But then I also have people who want a little bit more hands-on learning and they want my eyes in their business, meeting with me maybe a little bit more frequently. And so that is really what helped to get us to that number, was combining the two together.
Obviously, if you're somebody who is brand new, this isn't something you have to worry about right now. First steps would simply be like creating those one-off digital products that your audience asks for. But as you start to grow, and if you want your business to scale, thinking about how you could pair certain offerings with like a high ticket and a low ticket offer could be that answer to helping you scale to that next level. Kind of a side note, but something that surprised me with a lot of these creators, or like Jenna, who just passed $2 million in business revenue, is all of her money she's been making through Stan Store. She didn't need to have a fancy schmancy website set up with fancy schmancy sales pages and this website tool and then this email marketing tool and then Shopify set up. Like, she didn't have to have all the things. She's just been making money through one tool alone, and that's Stan. One thing that all of these creators had in common was a genuine love for what they do. I think sometimes people want to be a content creator because they think, oh, it's going to be easy. So many people are doing it. I could be a content creator, easy peasy, but they don't actually enjoy creating content or like running a business, building a business. And then that's where the disconnect happens, or that's where maybe the success falters because they thought they wanted to do this thing because it seemed easy, but then they maybe got into it and they're like, wait, I actually hate making content. This is so miserable. But all these creators, they genuinely loved creating. Like, there was such joy in making videos, in being cringy, in embarrassing themselves maybe. Like, there was a lot of joy in showing up for their audience and teaching, providing value, whatever it was that they did. You could see the joy radiate off of everybody, and everybody truly enjoyed creating. The next thing that all of these creators had in common was resiliency. Is that a word? Resiliency, being resilient. Not everybody had overnight success. I don't even know if anybody had an overnight success. A lot of us had put years of hard work into creating content before our business blew up. I believe Jenna said she was creating for 7 years before she finally saw growth in social media. Again, I think that's like a common misconception that people may have when starting as a content creator, is they see a lot of people have overnight success. So it feels like, oh, this could happen in the next 30 days. I mean, there's lots of 30-day challenges out there. Like, this is how to go viral on TikTok in 30 days. This is how to gain 10,000 followers on Instagram in 30 days. I've done 30-day challenges because they've worked for me, but of course I had experience in filming and editing before, so I think that's why they worked. If you're starting from absolute scratch, zero experience, you don't know how to use a camera, that 30-day expectation might be unrealistic. And I think the misconception is that growing on social media is gonna be really fast. On TikTok, on Instagram, you go viral overnight. And so people start posting consistently, they do it for a month, and then they're like, why am I not growing? This is stupid, I'm not growing. It's like, chill. You've done this for 30 days, right? Like, give it a few months. And that's not what everybody wants to hear, but the reason a lot of the creators there on that trip were so successful is because they put in the work, they put in the hours, they kept posting even when they didn't get any views. They kept posting when it was just their mom and their partners supporting them on live webinars. And I think that was something that everybody had in common, was they just kept showing up. They believed that eventually something would click, something would work. They knew their heart was in the right place. They wanted to create, they wanted to make a difference for their audience. So they just kept going. And it's because that they kept going, they finally saw the success and the reward of all the time that they put into it. And the final thing that I think everybody there had in common was they had some sort of community or support system, whether it was a direct partner, a family member, a friend, or even they found a group of people online that was like, okay, we're buddying up now, we're encouraging each other. I think having that support system in place is so powerful, because posting and growing on social media can be hard, especially if you're not seeing traction in the beginning. There's a lot of negative thoughts that come into play, and it's easy to talk yourself out of it when you're doing it alone. You're like, well, I suck, I knew this wasn't gonna work, I'm so embarrassed, or this is embarrassing, this is cringy, ugh, nobody's gonna ever like this. It's easy to talk yourself out of it, but when you have a strong support system, like my entire family and my husband, I'm very blessed that they believed in my dreams. That is very rare to say, I want to be a YouTuber, and for anybody in your life to be like, yes, oh my gosh, I love that for you, let's do it, you know? So I was very fortunate to have such a strong support system. Anytime I was feeling negative, they were right there to bring me back up. Like, no, like, you're doing great, you're providing so much value. Look, you got one comment, like that impacted that one person's life. And so having that support system there to just remind you why you're going, why you did this in the first place, definitely helped with that resiliency, I think. And now I want to give you all some words of encouragement from these creators.
I would tell you, do not give up. It takes longer than you think. The part that you don't see is all the chapters before this that I was creating content online and just not being seen. It had to be about 7 years before I started to see the monetization happen. So 7 years, that's a very long time, right? We don't hear those stories as often in this day and age because we just see these quick success stories. But I would tell you, keep your blinders on, be realistic with your goals, and understand that you can't speed up branding, right? It's gonna take time for your audience to get to know you and trust you, and then they will purchase from you and they will support you if you keep showing up authentically as you.
Yeah, I would say just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. I promise, like, they might look at us and be like, oh, well, that's easy for you two to say. You two have it figured out. We don't have it all figured out. We don't have all of our stuff together all the time. But what I think you and I have both done, and all the amazing other creators who are here with us this weekend, is they just keep showing up and they keep doing it. Of course, some strategies are going to be more effective than others, and they can subscribe to your channel to learn more about the strategies that are going to be effective. You know, like, don't run a marathon in flip-flops. Some things will be easier, harder than others, but just keep showing up, keep pouring in and creating that value.
I would say, number one, you have to get started, right? I try not to be too cliche, but like, everybody wants to be great when they first start, right? You get into adulthood and it's like, you don't want to feel embarrassment. You don't want to feel incompetent. You try to avoid those feelings, but those are all the feelings that we've experienced to do anything significant in our life, like started childhood, right? So getting the job, you had to become efficient at something that you weren't already efficient at. Going to school, you have to learn things and become knowledgeable at things that weren't already knowledgeable, right? It might have took you a little bit longer to study and learn something than your students, so fellow students, things like that. You have to be okay being a kid again in terms of learning new things and looking silly. Once you can accept and embrace the fact that you're not going to be great to get started, but that's okay because everybody starts that way, you'll have the confidence to show up consistently until you figure out what your niche is or what your style is and what your audience is most responsive to. So get started, embrace that it's not going to be that pretty in the beginning, but trust that the process is going to help shape you into the best version of yourself as a creator.
If you're an aspiring content creator or YouTuber, you're somebody that wants to start generating income, making money online, I definitely recommend watching this video next because it is a complete deep dive step-by-step tutorial teaching you how to create, market, and sell your own ebook to make 5 to 6 figures in your business. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Follow your joy. Bye.